Daniel, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We here at the channel are continuing in our series of videos with respect to education, information, inspiration, guidance, advice, and you never know when something you do in terms of Torah, in terms of Jewish law, in terms of study and devotion to Torah, you never know the ripple effect it can have years into the future. In the book of Deuteronomy, in chapter 17, it says that a king should have a Sefer Torah, should read there in all the days of his life. That's chapter 17, verse 10, that the Torah scroll should be with him always, should be his object of his studies. And because it affects the king, it affects his decisions, it affects his rulings, and it affects the people. Similarly, in these days, a Torah scholar can affect someone in the most remarkable ways. And I'll tell you a story about a Talmud Chacham, a Torah scholar from Jerusalem. And this is a story told by Rav Yitzhak Zilberstein. And the effect that this Talmud Chacham had on someone. It was very rare in the old days that someone had a complete set of the Talmud, the Shas, complete all the volumes. In the original Aramaic, talking about 20 volumes, big, heavy books. Not many people had them. It was rare. There was this scholar from Jerusalem. He had one volume. That's it. It contained the Mesechtas Beitza and Rosh Hashanah. That one volume. And he moved to Tzefas in the north, in the Galil, and all he took with him in terms of Talmud was that one volume, Rosh Hashanah and Beitza. He took it with him to Tzefas, and the city didn't, in those days, didn't have any other additional volumes of the Talmud, just that one. So these two Mesechtas, these two tractates of the Talmud, became the focus of his study, the focus of his love and devotion to Torah. He reviewed this volume of Talmud over 3,000 times. And while this person was a Talmud Chacham of repute, he nonetheless asked his children prior to his death to inscribe on his tombstone only the fact that he reviewed this one Mesechta, this one tractate, over 3,000 times. Who knows, he says, if this accomplishment will one day inspire another Jew to love Torah the way I do. Many years later, a very distinguished family in Bnei Noach. This is a neighborhood, the east side of Tel Aviv. They were shocked to learn that one of their sons had left the yeshiva, left the school where he had been studying, gave up his seat in shul for a place in the street with a gang of young thugs, hoodlums. He just gave it up, joined this gang. The parents were brokenhearted. They made every attempt to bring this son back to living a Jewish life. No avail. The more they tried, the more he rejected. The more he rejected their pleas. The influence of his newfound friends kept him in a stranglehold that was unyielding. One day, out of the clear blue sky, this guy returns to his family and to God and to Torah. He returns to the yeshiva, goes back to studying, and in a short while was counted among the more diligent of the students of the yeshiva. To this day, he's a great Torah scholar, a disseminator of Torah par excellence. In fact, that episode of his life, where he'd left the Torah and gotten off the path, the derech, was long forgotten, erased as if it never happened. what caused the about face? What brought about his return to Torah Judaism? Years after his spiritual metamorphosis, he related the reason to his parents. I was once up in Tzefas, and I was walking through a cemetery, and I noticed, by chance, the tombstone of a Torah scholar. And on the tombstone was engraved merely the fact that he reviewed one volume of Talmud over 3,000 times. The boy continues. What impressed me the most was the fact that basically a simple Jew, not a rabbi, not a head of a yeshiva, not a big important person, a simple Jew, had such overwhelming love for Torah that inspired him to review one volume of Talmud over 3,000 times. This man's exemplary devotion, his incredible love of Torah, awakened a spark in me and it became a passionate flame. If he could do this, why couldn't I? I made up my mind then and there in that cemetery to pursue my studies again with a similar enthusiasm and fervor as that man in the graveyard in Tzefas. Quite possibly, the most significant thing in a person's life, the impact our actions can have on others over a period of time. This Torah scholar, the guy who reviewed the Mesechta, Beitz and Rosh Hashanah 3,000 times and more, was long dead. And yet, he was able to affect this person in a very powerful manner. Who would have thought that this young guy, walking in a cemetery, would notice a stone with a simple but profound message? But then again, who are we to understand the ways of God? We're going to be doing more videos along these lines. Please come back. Please watch. Please learn. And until next time, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.